In the darkness of a forgotten temple, hidden beneath layers of earth and ancient stone, something stirred, a legend whose name alone could freeze the bravest warrior's heart: Medusa. Her very gaze, it was said, could petrify men into stone statues, their faces twisted forever in terror. But what if everything you thought you knew about Medusa was wrong? What if she wasn't born a monster, but forged into one by tragedy and betrayal? Prepare yourself, because the true story of Medusa is darker, deeper, and more heartbreaking than you ever imagined. Long before the snakes crowned her head, Medusa was a woman unlike any other, a woman whose beauty defied description. Hair cascading in raven waves, eyes glowing like polished emeralds beneath a moonlit sky, she walked gracefully among mortals, turning heads and igniting whispers of awe. Yet Medusa's beauty wasn't the gift she believed. It was a curse that would bring her world crashing down. A young priestess dedicated to Athena, goddess of wisdom and warfare, Medusa served faithfully within Athena's grand temple, her purity and devotion unmatched. But even the purest hearts are not immune to darkness, and Medusa's enchanting beauty caught the attention of powerful eyes. It was Poseidon, god of the sea himself, whose gaze settled hungrily upon the beautiful mortal. And when gods desired, they took. Ignoring Medusa's protests, Poseidon entered Athena's sacred sanctuary, desecrating its sacred halls with his cruel intentions. The temple's halls echoed with Medusa's anguished cries, cries that pierced the heavens but fell deaf on divine ears. Athena, witnessing the desecration of her holy place, did not see Medusa as a victim, but as the cause of her temple's defilement. Rage burning bright, Athena delivered swift justice, though tragically misplaced. She cursed Medusa, stripping away her mortal beauty, replacing her once luxuriant hair with hissing serpents, their scales slick, fangs dripping venom. Her radiant eyes, once filled with warmth, now became deadly weapons, turning anyone who dared meet her gaze into lifeless stone. Beautiful Medusa was gone, replaced by a monster, the Gorgon. Banished from the world she knew, Medusa hid herself away on an isolated, storm-ravaged island. She lived alone in shadowy caves that whispered her story to the relentless tides. Through grief and solitude, Medusa's heart became hardened, filled with bitterness at the gods who had betrayed and punished her unjustly. Yet beneath the monstrous visage remained the remnants of a woman longing for what she lost: her humanity. Years passed, and word spread across Greece about the horror that lurked beyond the sea. Warriors, heroes, and bounty seekers arrived, eager to claim Medusa's head as a trophy, their arrogance leading them to believe they could slay the unslayable. Each met the same fate. Their bodies, trapped forever in stone, scattered Medusa's island, silent monuments to hubris and folly. While Medusa languished in loneliness, far across the seas, another story unfolded. Perseus, a young hero and son of Zeus, found himself trapped in a deadly quest, manipulated by King Polydectes, who lusted for Perseus's mother. Determined to remove Perseus from the equation, Polydectes challenged him to an impossible task: return with the severed head of Medusa. To refuse was dishonor, to accept certain death. Driven by love for his mother, Perseus accepted his fate, unaware he was a pawn in the games of cruel men and spiteful gods. But fate had other plans. Perseus was favored by the gods. Hermes, swift messenger, appeared to him first, gifting him winged sandals to carry him swiftly through the skies. Athena, perhaps moved by guilt or seeking vengeance upon her own creation, bestowed upon him a polished bronze shield that shone brightly like a mirror. Perseus received more divine aid: a sword sharper than mortal steel from Zeus himself, and a helmet from Hades that granted invisibility. Armed and armored by the Olympian gods, Perseus took flight towards Medusa's island. His heart pounded in his chest with both fear and determination, unaware of the tragedy and suffering that awaited him. He soared over treacherous seas, guided by whispers of lost souls, until he saw the forsaken island emerge through the fog, dark cliffs looming ominously from the ocean below. Descending silently, Perseus landed upon the bleak shore, surrounded by countless stone figures, each frozen in their final moments of terror. Their pleading faces haunted him, eyes wide and mouths open in silent screams. Perseus hesitated, doubt creeping into his heart. Was he a hero, or merely another fool blinded by ambition? With no turning back, he entered the dark cavern, following shadows that danced against slick stone walls, illuminated faintly by torchlight. Deep within her lair, Medusa felt his presence, her snakes whispering warnings of another intruder. She rose slowly, a shadow among shadows, weary of this eternal battle. Her heart, long numbed by suffering, still yearned for an end to this cruel existence. Yet instinct took control, her serpentine hair writhing angrily, hissing venomous defiance, eyes glowing, ready to claim another victim. Perseus stepped forward, shield raised, heart racing as he glimpsed Medusa's reflection, his only safe view of the creature. His breath caught. There, reflected in bronze, was a sight he did not expect. The outline of a woman, graceful and tragic, hidden beneath monstrous snakes and eyes glowing with fierce pain. For one fleeting moment, Perseus felt her sorrow, felt her humanity. Medusa sensed his hesitation, confusion clouding her mind. Could this mortal see beyond the monster? Could he understand the woman she once was? A spark of hope, long extinguished, flickered briefly within her. But fate rarely grants second chances. Bound by his quest, Perseus knew hesitation meant death. He drew his sword swiftly, guided by instinct, desperation, and the sorrowful reflection before him. A single strike, precise and merciful. A scream filled the cavern, agony mingled with relief. Medusa fell, her torment finally over. Perseus shielded his eyes, grasping blindly until his fingers touched her severed head. His quest fulfilled, but his heart forever changed. Yet Medusa's death was not the end of her story, merely the beginning of a legacy that would echo through eternity. From her spilled blood sprang forth two children of Poseidon, the winged horse Pegasus and the golden giant Chrysaor, symbols of both freedom and power born from tragedy itself. Returning triumphantly home, Perseus used Medusa's head to vanquish enemies, turning King Polydectes and his court to stone, liberating his mother and restoring justice. But afterward, burdened by remorse, Perseus gave the head to Athena, who placed it upon her shield as a weapon and a warning, Medusa forever immortalized as a guardian and protector. Centuries later, explorers still whispered of Medusa's island, haunted by restless spirits trapped in eternal torment. Some claimed her cursed gaze lingered, powerful enough to turn hearts cold, even from beyond death. Adventurers sailed bravely yet foolishly toward her dark shores, captivated by myths promising hidden treasures and forbidden knowledge. But none who ventured returned unchanged, forever haunted by visions of a sorrowful gaze watching from shadowed cliffs. Medusa's tale lives on, a haunting reminder of innocence stolen, justice misplaced, and humanity buried beneath monstrous legend. Her story speaks of the darkness within beauty, betrayal among gods, and the thin line separating hero and villain. To gaze upon Medusa's truth is to confront the darkest corners of humanity, reflecting our own fears and desires back at us in cold, merciless stone. So the next time you see Medusa depicted, whether on shields, statues, or forgotten temples, remember the woman behind the myth. Remember the tragedy, the pain, and the hope extinguished too soon. Because deep beneath that monstrous facade was once a woman who dreamed, loved, and suffered greatly, a victim to gods and fate alike. And though petrified in legend, Medusa still calls out from beyond stone, whispering her truth. If only we dare to listen.